Welcome to the introductory video for Funeral Data Manager 12. When you first launch Funeral Data Manager, you will be presented with the Getting Started screen, shown here. If you're a first-time user, the first thing that you should do is set up your location. If you click on Set Up Locations, here is where you can edit our default record for locations by adjusting the information already in here, or you can add a new one. So for this demo, I'm going to remove the one that we have in here and add a new funeral home. So I'm going to create a unique ID, just sort of a 3-digit or 4-digit code to identify my location. And this is really useful for mostly when you have multiple locations, so you can differentiate cases, reports, and several other things based on location if you'd like to see things separately. Otherwise, you can always choose to see all of your cases across all of your locations at any time. So I'm just going to start off with a simple 3-digit unique identifier, our formal business name, and any additional information I want to place in here. You can put your full street address, your license number, anything else in this top section here. In the second section for contracts and billing, you'll need to set up your sales tax for services and merchandise, which some states do tax funeral items. At the top, you can enter whether or not you have a local tax in addition to your state tax. So in our state, Pennsylvania, we only have a state sales tax of 6%. If you are a member of Federated Funeral Directors, you can denote that here. And in the bottom section, you can check off the items that relate to your state that are taxed. Things that say other charges, other C, these are areas on contracts and billing where you can actually type in your own options for those particular fields. So it's useful to check off these if you plan on entering any additional data later. But you can always come back to this screen in order to make sure that sales tax is applied properly. When you're finished, click Done. You can also set up additional information for your funeral home, such as your general price list date, your casket date, vault date, the cost of the first copy of a death certificate, cost for additional copies, interest rate, how many days out bills are due, and any annual rate. And for our memorial section, you can also enter either textual information, or by clicking this box here, you can navigate to a JPEG or PNG of your logo and insert it here. When you're finished with this section, simply click the back button in the upper left-hand section of the screen. The second thing that you should set up are your employees. Here's where you can enter details especially related to director numbers and licensing numbers, things that would normally appear on death certificates and other formal documentation. So right now we already have an account set up here. We can just click New to add another full name and any additional information that we want to apply to this particular employee. And when we're finished, we could again click the back button to go back to the Getting Started screen. The third thing to set up would be your letterhead. Our interface provides 4 options or styles to choose for your letterhead: a single column design, a 2-column design, a 3-column design, and a logo design. And at any time you can change the style of your saved letterhead. So you can see in here that we have a saved letterhead, and initially it was set to 1 column. I can always click on logo and actually change that one, but it's often useful to just save additional ones in case you want to use different versions of your letterhead. So on a columnar layout, here's where you would just simply type the information that you want to appear on your letterhead and click on the next line and say perhaps enter your street address, city, state, and zip, and then any other information you'd like to add there. You can also change the name of the letterhead in this interface to the left. So I'm going to call this one our text only letterhead. And then I might make a new one that actually has our logo in it. So I'm going to call this our logo letterhead and click logo as the design style. And then again, just like in the other interface, you click on the box, navigate to where your logo is stored, click on your logo, and it will insert it. The information that appears below this does not print. It's just for display purposes. So once again, click the back button. The next thing you should do is select your general price list. We have a little disclaimer here at the beginning. Just click accept, and you'll be presented with a list of GPLs that we've pre-installed. When you find one that you like, such as the GPL National Standard, you click the star next to it to denote that this is your preferred one. And you'll have to uncheck the stars next to any other ones because you should only identify one general price list as your default. Once you do that, if you click the eyeball at the bottom, it will take you to the actual GPL where you can then insert your pricing information for your general price list. Now here is where you can select the letterhead that we previously set up so that it appears at the top of your price list. And here too, if you want to enter the date that you printed this or created it for a particular client, would go in this section here. Now when you're finished with it, you can print this out at any time by clicking the print button. In the upper left-hand corner is the back button to take you back to the selection screen and then back again to the Getting Started screen. Next, you're going to select a contract. We have several contracts in here. They're standard ones, and if you call us, we will also create custom contracts if there is not a contract in here that's suitable to your needs. And once again, when you have a contract that you want, you're going to select Set as Default to choose that contract for every case you're going to use going forward in your system. You can take a look at this to see close up what this contract will look like, but you're not going to fill this out here. When you're on an actual case, you'll be able to accept who the purchaser is and insert packages and merchandise that you're selling to a particular client. But right now, this information is for display purposes only, for you to select your default. So if we go back, you'll see the next option is to set up contract prices. Now here is where you can set up packages that will autofill into your selected contract. So right now we have some already set up for you to get you started. And you click Edit Prices and you'll be presented with a worksheet that's very similar to the same line fields that you'll see on your selected contract. Here is where you would enter the costs related to this specific package. So if there are items that you wouldn't fill out for this package, you would just leave those blank. You can also enter your terms of payment and any other merchandise description in this lower section here. And again, this worksheet will change depending on the contract you selected in the previous section. Now, one other option you have is to set up default tasks. You can choose to use this or not, it's optional. We have some pre-set up task groups, and each task group contains a series of tasks. Tasks are used to make sure that certain things are done on a case. So there may be specific steps that you take during the course of dealing with an at-need case, or even a pre-need case that you want to make sure all those items get accomplished. This is where you would set up those defaults. You can click New to create a new group to which you would then create new tasks, or you can open up one of the already created groups and add additional tasks. You can also click in any of these descriptions and edit them to suit your needs. And when you're finished, you can go back and you are now finished with our setup screen. In the future, when you launch the application, the lower right-hand corner allows you to skip this screen if you don't want this to be your startup screen, simply by unchecking this box. So when you start up, you'll immediately go to the dashboard. But if you like going to your setup area, you can just leave this checkbox checked. If you have any further questions regarding the setup process, please give us a call.